Hello and welcome to the show. We are back at the top of Mount Chiliad for a one-off special downhill chaos as some hikers welcome me back. Ah dear, I have not missed the hikers wandering around in shot. Yes, I'm going to give the Mount Chiliad downhill chaos course a go with the new vehicles that were added in the High Life DLC, and we start with the Huntley S. Sort of a Bentley Continental GT made into a big kind of SUV. I'm not a massive fan of the looks of this vehicle. I'm not a massive fan of big SUVs, to be honest. This one is particularly bulky and not the prettiest of vehicles. Modification wise, I have changed the colours, of course, to make it black and orange. It has a modified bonnet, I think, and that's it. Otherwise, everything else is standard. Performance wise, it is exactly the same as a standard vehicle. On this early attempt, well, things were going pretty well until I dropped the wheels over the edge and promptly spun it around in a circle. Never mind. This was a pretty solid vehicle for driving down this course, which is not particularly surprising. It is a big off-road car, and it is designed for the, well, not quite for this sort of extreme terrain, but it's designed to deal with the bumps a little bit better than the sports cars. On that occasion, again, I was getting a little bit too much of the oversteer and couldn't quite gather it up. It is a big, heavy vehicle, this one. Surprisingly agile on the brakes. It does get stopped very well for such a large car. As ever, whenever you run over a hiker, karma often gets you back a couple of corners later, and sure enough, on this time, splattered into a rock. Amazingly, apart from the little scratch, did no other damage to my vehicle other than losing the bonnet, which is always fun. May have outbraked myself. I was trying to be a little bit too brave and end up coming backwards into a corner. That's never a good sign. Recovered it, but yeah, that run was gone. Didn't take very long, only a few attempts before I could get a clean run out of this car. It's pretty damn good for doing this kind of thing. Honestly, one of the better overall cars I've had. I'm not a big fan of this vehicle. I think it's too bulky, a little bit ugly, but it is very good at this. It is pretty damn rapid for an SUV. Stops better than I was expecting it. No, it's not going to have sports car, have supercar brakes, because look at the size of the damn thing. But it does get stopped really rather fast, and it is surprisingly good handling. It's yeah, you can chuck this around like some of the sports cars. Okay, it's never quite going to be as good as them, but it is still, yeah, it's still pretty damn good to drive, which surprised me actually. Oh, exhaust, that was the other thing. I have modifications, so I've got lots of fire coming out of the back of it. That was it, that was all I did. There was a rather unlucky, whatever it was, I've forgotten the name of it. Why have I forgotten the name of it? I'm not sure. Never mind, it'll come to me, or everybody will shout at me in the comments. Either way around, it works. May have eaten a hiker as well. Can't do very much about that one, unfortunately. Less people and animals are harmed in the BeamNG one, but cars are harmed an awful lot more. We come up towards the final section, and everything was going all rather smoothly. We fit through here. A little bit of a wide car, this one, but as I said, surprisingly agile around the final corner. Gets a little bit of a bump, but deals with it a lot better than the supercars. And there we go. It is across the line. Take the big jump and try not to plough into a tree. Almost got it stopped. Not quite. And we may have fallen off a little bit. I'm also not a massive fan of the double rear spoiler that I've just noticed on it. I didn't know. Oh dear. Yeah, surprisingly good for such a big vehicle. This was a pretty damn nice car to drive. Got down the mountain very well. One of the best all-round vehicles, I would say, for combination of speed and off-road capabilities. Really is rather good. Up next, we have my favourite car from this new update. I cannot pronounce the damn name of this one. Massacro? I'm just going to call it a Massa, okay? Because I can pronounce that bit of it. Aston Martin look-alike. And this is with all the racing upgrades. Again, just visual upgrades. It is so low that the wheels phase through the bodywork. This is not with the lowered suspension. This is with standard suspension and everything. There are some more hikers. Goddamn hikers. Oh, you're going to take your phone out and take a picture of my... I mean, to be fair, if I saw a supercar at the top of a mountain, I probably would take a picture. I wouldn't stand in front of the way that it was pointing. I would stand to the side of it. Stupid blooming hikers. Yeah, I really like this car. This is a great looking car. And I like the racing modifications. You can turn it into sort of a right little GT car. yeah, I really do quite like this vehicle. Fairly expensive for a sports car, this one. I think it's 200 to 300,000 in GTA Online. I may have bumped a rock. Rocks are not your friends on this course as we go tumbling up. I love how it reaches out and closes the door just before it tumbles some more and then rips the door clean off. Yeah, this is not too bad a car to drive. It has the normal supercar problem of we don't like bumps. And as we... as you can see, once I got it bouncing, you just can't really stop it. I was so hoping to get this under control as we come around the rocks, and after all of that, it's a spin that finally finished. It didn't go soaring into the distance, it just slightly ended up pointing the other way. Again, instant karma from running over hikers and trying to go through a fence. We are not strong enough to clear the fence, and now we're tumbling, and now we're back to... We're doing many rolls down the mountain. Will we ever land? Oh, he got the door that time. And then the other one fell off. Yeah. As per normal, whenever you take a road car down this course, the bumps can be a real problem, especially on this opening section. Very narrow section. And in a car that accelerates as quickly as this, very easy to overshoot. This time, we've fallen off the mountain, but not done many a barrel roll. And now, well, screw you, physics. I'm a supercar and I can climb back up this mountain absolutely fine. Yeah, don't mind me, hikers. I love how they've watched a sports car go plummeting off the edge and they just carry on their routine. They don't care. They barely even notice that I came back on the mountain. The only reason they did is because I got vaguely close to one of them. Again, didn't take me too long with this car to get it down to the bottom of the mountain. Despite it being very low, as with all the street cars really, it deals with the bumps pretty well. Got to be a little bit careful as per normal with these first sections. Got it a bit sideways in the air there, that's never good. And again, perhaps took that jump a little bit more than I would have ideally liked. Don't want my car in the air through that first section. Very easy to sort of overshoot and end up off the mountain. These next few corners don't really have too much to worry about, provided you get it slowed down over that crest and then kind of fling it in around this next one. Hairpin, of course, not going to be a problem for the sports cars. On most occasions, I ended up running a little bit wide, just clipped the inside or the outside bank, and that threw me slightly into the wall, but I could get away with it. Again, through these next corners, got to be careful on the landing of the jumps. With this car, as you can expect, really. The corners through here, though, are fairly simple. This jump is the one you got to watch out for. Try and get a nice clean landing. A hiker actually reacted to me just about as I was going past them. This is the scary jump, because you can get a lot of speed up in a sports car, and even on this attempt, it sort of twisted a little bit on the landing. Didn't get a very good run down this little side passage. I was a bit all over the place. On the bit out of practice, I think, with this this downhill chaos course. It's around the second to last corner, and the bumps were affecting this car considerably more than the Huntley. It does sound very nice, actually, the engine in this, and it is across the line. Yeah, as I said, I really like this car. It's excellent vehicle. I think it looks fantastic, and I do like the options that you can have with all these racing paraphernalia added on to the side of it. We move to our third vehicle. This is the Zentorno, I think it is called. This is how you design cars, Lamborghini. And there's another bloomin' hiker in the way, so I decided to remove him. I know this is based vaguely on a Sesto Elemento, but this is what you should have made your new Lamborghini look like. Not what you've made. This is how a Lamborghini should look. It's like a fighter jet. It is absolutely incredible. Just don't have the blood splatter on. Hey, he's coming to steal my car. Quick, we must go. This is a fantastic looking vehicle. It comes in black and orange as standard, so it is insta-like from me. I really do like the look of this car. It's suitably crazy. It is a supercar, which means it is very fast, very quick accelerating, incredibly twitchy. You may have hit a cougar slightly, and then we've slightly outbraked ourselves. Whoopsie, yeah, we're pointing slightly the wrong direction. It could be a bit worse. This is not the easiest of cars to drive down here. Has the normal problems, really, with a supercar. Doesn't particularly like jumps, especially not when you take the jump at a slightly wonky angle. And we're going to just spin around again. There we go. We've got it just about back under control. May have just got away with that. I was thinking that was going off the edge. Overshot the hairpin, and somehow, I'm not sure quite how that one worked. I'm still not entirely sure how I rescued that one. It shouldn't have worked. I'm amazed I even got to the hairpin after I flew over that first jump. I got an awful lot of airtime off that. Too much speed, yet again. I tried to save it, couldn't quite get away with it. It's very easy with the supercars and the sports cars to sort of be accelerating there and that jump to be an awful lot larger than you realise. Then we go do a little bit of bobsledding down the way on our roof. Can't really right this vehicle. It doesn't like you trying to right it when it's upside down. And then we go into spin, and we're still spinning. And there we go, it's under control again. That's what I meant to do. Honestly, it was completely and utterly planned. All of that was. Yeah, I was having a little bit of a fight with this car. Still, though, not completely terrible. Got a big slide on through one of the corners, and then I'm all out of shape for this next jump. I'm on 2 wheels. That's not going to end well. That's well, I'm using the rocks as a split ramp. We did 1.5 barrel rolls, and that's broken, basically. Yeah, of course, your normal supercar problems of not liking the landing of jumps, and if you end up slightly out of position with this car, very easy to have problems. Another common supercar thing, has so much grip it does occasionally go on 2 wheels just from cornering. Wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. When I was driving this on the road, it was very grippy. You could almost roll it off curbs, and that was the most noticeable of occasions. It wasn't as big of a problem rolling this car as I thought it might be. Because yeah, this thing's hugely grippy. Again, we may have overshot that corner just a little bit, perhaps. No, we can't save that anymore. We're going to roll, and we're still going to tumble. Does tumble quite well, I'll give it that. Probably because we're going so fast, it needs to get rid of the momentum somehow. And back under control again. Yay, that was another completely intended recovery. After a little while, again, didn't take too long for this car. Certainly not as bad as some of the vehicles that I've driven down the mountain. I was to get a clean run. This first section, got to be very careful with a car of this speed. As I said, easy to overshoot the jumps. Also, with a car with so much grip, easy to have a sort of a bit of a twitch, be a little bit twitchy and try to correct it too much and just throw yourself off the mountain. It's surprisingly easy. That you can do that. Again, can take a lot of speed through these. On this occasion, it wasn't quite the perfect. I sort of started turning in, didn't quite get it right, and then we have a big oversteer moment. This is quite an oversteery car when you drive it on a road, sort of a normal road. Down here, I'm using the handbrake more, probably more than I use it in any other situation, really, so you don't actually notice quite how oversteery they are. It is quite a slidey car, doesn't have a huge amount of rear end grip, this one. Again, these corners not really a problem. Then we've got a couple of nasty landings coming up. Got out of shape before the jump and somehow got away with it. I'm not entirely sure how we did that one. Avoid the hiker, and then comes to the scary place. Again, it was still, I was on its side again, much like with the other one, the Massacre. Yeah, for some reason that jump wanted to put the cars on their side. I was trying to correct it in the air, but you just don't have time. It's not a big enough jump. And then it is around the second to last corner, gets a little bit bumped around again. And the final corner, it is across the line. And we're going to try and do a front flip. I'm still not sure what it is that causes the vehicles to want to front flip off that. I've not quite figured out. And then a cougar tripped over the back of my car, which is always clever. It's fine. It got up. It carried on. It ran away. I quite like this car. I love the look of this car. It's a fantastic looking vehicle. Not massively faster. I think it's sort of around the Cheetah, that sort of speed for a supercar. But yeah, looks wise, it is absolutely fantastic. We move to our fourth and final vehicle. This is the Thrust. This is one of the new bikes. I'm going to start off by saying I'm not a big fan of bikes, particularly. I do not know what sort of bike it is. It is a bike. It goes forward and has 2 wheels. That's about all I can tell you. Bikes on GTA are also quite tricky to drive, as they tend to have phenomenal grip, which means you can carry a lot more speed through a corner. We're also sliding slightly to the left. Never noticed that before. We are not sure that we're on. I don't know. We were sliding to the left. I'm not sure quite what was causing it. So yeah, bikes tend to have an awful lot of grip. This one is a little bit funny in a couple of ways, actually. First of all, the brakes are strange on this thing. Once you get the vehicle in the air, once the wheels are off the ground, it suddenly picks up massive amounts of speed. And you cannot slow it down. And if you land on the rear wheel, see, look how much speed this thing is picking up. I'm on the brakes the entire way down here. And, well, Franklin's dead. Yeah, the minute the back wheel touches the ground, if you're on the brakes, you just pick up so much speed. I'm not sure how it works. I don't know quite why it works like that. Again, there we land on the back wheel, and suddenly we're picking up speed, and I can't save it. And oh dear, let's catch the bike. Perhaps we can do an awesome motocross trick. No, you landed on your face again. Yeah, this is not an easy bike to drive. Or this is not an easy place to try and drive this bike. If you're on a road, that's fine. It does not like the land. It likes the landings from these jumps even less than the blooming supercars do. Again, whoa, sudden acceleration. More acceleration. I'm completely on the brakes, and we're dead again. You can just about see the brake light on. I'm not touching anything else. I'm just slamming on the brakes trying to stop it. Engine makes an awful racket. Yeah, this first section was proving pretty damn tricky. It's not good when you've gone up in the air. The fence, perhaps slowly. No, we're going to go and visit down here again, are we? Oh no, that's a backflip, and no, we're dead again. The other slight tricky thing with this bike is it's actually very understeery. It has the twitchiness of the other vehicles with the huge amounts of grip, but as you can see there, it just understeers. We fell off the mountain. Amazingly, the bike stopped bouncing long enough for me to actually stop it. And look, we're alive! We fell off the downhill chaos course and didn't die. And I think we can recover somewhere, if I can figure out where the hell I'm going. There's a course somewhere. There it is. We've taken a slight shortcut. Not really time-wise. We cut a large part of the course out. And again, this first section with the twitchiness and the, well, now it's gone. Now I can't really stop that unless, nope, we've gone back up in the air. We're wheeling. Well, I would love to know what speed we're doing. And that's a rock and that's a death. Yeah, once things go wrong, they go very wrong. There were many
more deaths of very similar things. Eventually, I did get a clean run out of the bike. I just had to be a little bit slower. It's funny, it's weird driving this. Amazingly, I got away with sort of slightly taking a jump off that rock there. Because it has the downsides of all of the bikes on GTA 5, and that it's very twitchy, which makes it hard to drive in sort of narrow roads such as these. It's fine on normal sort of road driving, but on this course, it's very narrow in places, makes it a little bit difficult. The problem is, so you'll be fighting all of that twitchiness, and then you're going to turn in a corner, and you'll have incredible sort of turn in, and then you'll just run out of grip, and it won't sort of carry that on. Makes it very hard to get used to. This bike, very weird sort of steering on this. I guess it's because you don't lean as much as some of the other bikes. It's a bit funny to drive this one. We're all out of shape through here. I felt for sure we were going off the mountain. Just about held it together. We're exploring. We're using the full extent of the track. I think that's a fair way of saying it. Still terrified of this thing as we come into the final sector. I can pretty much straight line this. I've got enough grip to get away with it, to make sort of slight adjustments around the second to last corner. Not quite sure where we're going. There we go. It is across the line, and then we've made the jump, and then we're not going to. There we go. We are just about going to stop. Yeah, this is not an easy vehicle to drive down the mountain, particularly. Slightly weird handling characteristics and very strange picking up of speed once you get it in the air. Not sure what caused it. I think we've had that before with bikes. I can't remember. I then remembered that we had a tradition, haven't done this for ages, of terrible vehicles. They must be burnt. They must be sacrificed to the gods of GTA 5 because they'd be a pain in the arse to drive down the mountain. I can't remember what other vehicles we've burnt. But yes, we shall burn the bike, as it is a real pain to drive that down the mountain. And there we go. It is engulfed in flames. And wait for it. There we go. Franklin's not even paying attention. And the bike has exploded, and the police are a little bit angry with me. Anyway, move on to the descent times, and it's a pretty damn quick time from the Zentorno. It goes the second fastest of the supercars, just behind the Cheetah. The thrust is, well, it is fastest of the four new vehicles. However, it is not particularly quick for a bike. Goes into 8th with a 120.25, slower than a dune buggy, and that's just because it is so difficult to drive. And the Massa goes into 14th, which is pretty damn good considering that is a sports class vehicle, slightly behind the Turismo. Further down we have the Huntley S with a 127 dead. Very fractionally faster than a Gauntlet, a little slower than a Rapid GT. Pretty damn good all-round vehicle, the Huntley S. Just styling-wise, not my kind. Not the sort of vehicle that I like. Anyway, that is it for today. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.